Hey, everybody, it's Karen Anderson here live with Aortic Hope for our weekend review. Before we even get started, I feel like a robot because I say the same thing week after week. Please click that like button. Please click the subscribe button. Please click the bell, wherever that may be. And that's mainly so that you're notified every time we go live, because not only do we go live to recap everything that we've shared with you, all of that accurate educational information throughout the week, we also go live because we have some very brave survivors and caregivers who want to share their stories. And we also go live because we interview people. And this coming week, we are going live with Dr. Prakash out of UT Houston. He's going to be talking about exercise, about aortas, about blood pressure, about medications, about anything that's on your mind. And that is on July 6th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. If you click the bell, then you'll know where to be. Then you're part of the in crowd, the part of the cool crowd, like Terry Cook, who is one of our board members, and she is with us.
Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good day.
I haven't seen Terry in a long time. What's it been, about 12 hours?
Almost 24.
Almost 24. I missed you already so much. We'll get into that a little bit later. All right, but for right now, let's get into a weekend review. And hopefully there are some people out there that want to join us. Look, if you join us, leave us a comment, please. Banter with us. Give us your opinion on some of these posts. We'd really like to hear from you. We do this because not everybody's on Facebook. Can you believe that, Terry?
I know. It's weird.
Right? They're probably better for it. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes Facebook acts foolish. It's foolishness in Facebook land.
Not even Facebook. We actually have some clients that don't even have an email address. Yeah.
Okay. That's extremely antiquated.
Yes.
But you know what? Sometimes I wish we almost didn't have email. I love the instantaneousness of it, but I got to say, I love getting something in the mail. I love when my name's on something and it doesn't say IRS or police or who else do we hate? So MVA. I don't like any of that because this is never ever like, oh, you won our raffle from our, pit beef. Never says that. Never says that.
Agree.
You can laugh. It's okay. I can completely make you chuckle, especially if I say dissection on right live.
I was waiting for that, and I still haven't figured out the other word.
We'll have to hear that before we end. Are you having or you have?
I have not.
Okay, that's all right. When you have a girls trip, we got together. A bunch of us from the aortic community got together for our second annual girls trip, and you know how sometimes you just have to come up with certain words because they're just so silly and you just have to say them over and over. There's a little bit of like hidden lingo here. Although Dasaki is the name of a hibachi restaurant in the Poconos, Tannersville. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of cool ambiance. The food was okay, but the experience was a lot of fun. So we'll give that shout out. Yeah, it's all about the experience. All right, let's hop right into our Monday, which was our movement for movement. And look, we talk about this all the time. I say this all the time, that we talk about it all the time. We talk a lot about how we started this movement for movement back in the beginning of 2020. This is before we had COVID, this little thing that kept us indoors. We were hearing from the community. People were feeling often intimidated to just move, scared if they picked up their newborn baby or they picked up a gallon of milk. So many conflicting bits of information about what we can and we can't pick up, even though it's not conflicting. Whatever your doctor tells you to do, that's what you should do. And no two people are the same. So maybe Terry can pick up, a piece of luggage, and I can only pick up a gallon of milk. Who knows what the problem may be, but because our situations are so different. So the key here with our movement for movement is that your body, whatever it is you can do. And the key to everything that we share with you that comes from these other sites is just for you to use as a tool to have a conversation with your physician, a tool to maybe help create some inspiration within yourself, anything like that. We are not medical professionals. We are just people who have been in the aortic disease world for quite some time. Myself, 8 years, Terry, about 2, right? 2 going into 3. Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of experience. We have 11 years between us. All right. So according to the University of Colorado Boulder, in their article that was titled "Mental Health is Moving Your Body," oftentimes when we think about movement, we automatically assume that it's going to be this sweat-inducing workout at the gym. And that's just not necessarily the case. So, movement can take on many different forms. There's really no one size fits all approach. Walking up a flight of steps with a bag of chips, that's movement. Playing Monopoly is movement. Listen, all these things is moving your body. You're not sitting there sedentary. And any type of movement is beneficial. Laughing is movement, and that's very beneficial for you as well. So, here's just a few of the benefits of moving your body, and then maybe it'll get you to think about moving it some more. So, we'll talk about this. All right. So, moving actually helps release endorphins, and that actually helps relieve stress. So, specifically, if you're talking about laughing, that's definitely going to release some endorphins, and it's going to create just a euphoric sense, but it also engages your core, makes you breathe in some more, makes you move those facial muscles. These are all positive things. Moving your body actually allows us to take a break from everyday challenges and responsibilities. Even if it's doing a movement that is a responsibility, it takes you away from other types of responsibilities, and it actually helps emotions move through the body. It provides an outlet for self-expression. It strengthens the connection that we might have within our body. And movement is actually something that's tangible and it's accessible as far as a coping mechanism. And this can work with any type of ability, any type of fitness level, any type of range of motion or range of mobility. You do whatever you can possibly do. It's also another great way to meet other people and build your sense of community, find like minded people. And that also can help you when it comes to support during tough times. So let's talk about movement. What's your personal relationship with movement, Terry?
Well, my personal relationship with movement is that I do go to the gym. I am fortunate that I'm allowed to go to the gym. I don't have an aneurysm, so I can exert a little more, and I actually like it. So that's my relationship with movement. And I try to go. I know this is really sad, but I try to go 5 days a week. Now, if I could just control the eating, it would be fantastic. But the thing is, with moving, whether you go to the gym, whether you take a walk, whether you walk up and down your hall, whether you walk up and down your stairs, my husband always tells me, you never do exercise, or he says, you never go to the gym and come home and say, I wish I would not have done that. Because it makes you, again, the endorphins. I come home from the gym and I run around the house. I run
Hmm.
around the house, picking up, cleaning up, doing things. So any type of movement, as you said, is going to get those endorphins moving, going to make you feel better. And let me tell you something, laughing is truly the best medicine. And you laugh and you start crying and your sides hurt and just do it. That's
Exactly.
always my
So
saying.
your relationship with moving is very toxic. I mean, healthy, because sometimes it can be healthy, sometimes it can be toxic. And there are people out there that, despite being what they've been told by their physicians, are moving and pushing the envelope. And in my personal opinion, that's got a little toxic. That's on borderline
Mhm.
OCD of moving and going to the gym. But again, whatever you clear, whatever path you work out with your doctor makes sense. So,
Well,
um,
the biggest thing too is that you need to listen to your body.
that's true.
There are days where I'm like, I can't do this today. It's just my body's tired, my body hurts. I'm just not feeling it. So you've got to listen to your body and talk to your doctors.
True, absolutely. And there is this article that's in here that actually talks a lot about tips and the benefits of moving for your body, and actually includes a workshop to help you evaluate your feelings when it comes to moving your body. So there's a link that's right there. I will say that for myself, ugh, going to the gym feels like it's punishment for consuming food. Notice I said food, not nourishment, because a lot of what I consume is probably not the greatest. I like, if I'm going to go to the gym, for me, I'm in the water because I know can't really hurt
Absolutely.
myself in the water. There's a lot of people though that can't really afford that gym membership. So there's things that, look, we're going to be at the fall. I hate to say it, the F word. We're going to be near fall soon, and that means cleaning out again. We do a spring cleanup. Sometimes we clean out, we switch the closets out. That's movement. Moving all your warm weather clothes out and bringing the cold weather clothes in. It's movement. Cleaning out your pantry and reorganizing it. That's movement. So you know what? And honestly, we all know that sometimes doing nothing is still considered doing something, and that's
Mhm.
healthy. And all we're trying to say is don't worry about doing a triathlon. Don't worry about becoming a massive athlete. Don't worry about, trying to keep up with anybody else that you read about in the community, in any community. Talk to your doctor and do what you can do. Even if your doctor says you can do technically more, as Terry said, listen to your body and do what your body tells you can do.
Something else that I do that's really good is I will take my book. I use a Kindle. I don't actually have a real book, but even if you did, you know what? I sometimes I just pace around the house and read.
Mhm.
And it's moving my mind because I'm reading, it's moving my body because I'm walking around the house. That's something so simple that you can do because a lot of people love to read and it's very easy to sit on the couch or sit on the chair and read. But if you just move just a little bit while you're reading, definitely helps.
It's something, you can buy from Amazon one of those like foot pedalers. You just kind of plop it on the
Hmm.
ground. They're kind of, I say plop, but they're heavy, and just be pedaling in place. You can
Hmm.
also use it for your arms. So, that cooking a recipe, you're still upright, your blood's flowing, you're chopping, you're moving around, you're organizing, you're cleaning up. You would be amazed if you actually thought about how many different ways you can move your body. But the key is it's extremely beneficial, as we've talked about in prior uh, posts, that it's beneficial to your mind, your body, your soul, your emotions, your overall health and being. So, again, talk to your doctor and can't wait to hear how you're moving. Let us know. Let us know how that works. We're moving on to Topic Tuesday. Oh, this is another big one
Are
from
you, hold on, are you
at,
not going to
yeah.
say hi to Michelle Wegman?
Hi, Michelle Wegman. I was busy setting up the computer. That was a memory ago. I was like, that was in that part, and it moved right into that part. Hey, Michelle Wegman. I'm not going to announce something special Michelle's working on. I'm going to wait and see if she wants to type it to you, and then we would announce it. But there is something that Michelle's working on that's kind of special. I'm psyched about. All right, Topic Tuesday, written by Adam. Adam Ahmed. He comes up with such great, interesting information. I can't even wait for you to see what we start off with in July. Because remember, I'm reading the stuff that we wrapped up from last week, which was the end of June. Okay, so this is the end of his medication post, which is talking about some atypical antihypertensive drugs that kind of don't fit any categories that we had discussed before. And a lot of those we talked about were beta blockers and ACE inhibitors. So we talked about diuretics as well last week. And so one of the main effects that came through talking about diuretics was that it does increase your ability to urinate. That's how you're going to rid the body of all your extra fluid. So let's talk about the different types of diuretics because they do different things. It was thiazide, there was loop diuretics, and then there's potassium. Should reduce the chances that you're going to lose some potassium in that process of avoiding. So they actually can also, one of those can actually be used to help treat kidney stones. And I'm curious to know if anybody remembers because I do not remember. But my guess would be
It's
potassium
on there,
sparing.
Karen. It's on
Probably.
there.
It
It's on
does?
there. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to
Potassium
find out in a
something.
minute because I don't see it. So I'm not going to ask you to guess because you'll win. But then you win at a lot of things.
Oh,
All
I
right.
forgot. You
So
can't see it. Or can you?
I can't see it. All right. So what he went into this last week was an article from the American Heart Association. And this was kind of talking about changes that you can make to help manage this. And before we talk about some of the drugs that was coming up in last week, he really wanted to kind of go over the sympathetic nervous system, which is also called the flight or flight. Could be either or. It includes both of those. It's the fight or flight response system. And so the body actually produces two main hormones, norepinephrine. God, I can't say these words. Norepinephrine
Sounds good.
and epinephrine. I would have said norepinephrine, but I know it's norepinephrine and epinephrine. So or adrenaline. Okay. And these hormones can actually bind several different receptors, which meditates different types of effects on the body. So only one actually effect, the one effect that they carry out and they do is by binding alpha 1 receptors, which is called pro-sympathetic, which acts by increasing the smooth muscle contraction throughout the body. So additionally, epinephrine can bind beta 1 receptors, which increases heart rate and pumping. So I'm not sure if everybody knew that there are these receptors or beta blockers. They actually block to fight high blood pressure. So there's these drugs that also work against your heart rate rhythms as well. This is a graphic that Adam put up that kind of helps explain the norepinephrine and epinephrine and the smooth muscle contraction and blood vessels. And this is us talking about the very first antihypertensive drug he discussed was the alpha 1 blocker drug. Those are the drugs that we take that end in zosin. So remember we talked about the beta blockers end in lol. They're the LOLs like nebivolol and labetalol and metoprolol. And then there were the drugs that ended in the tans. And then so the prils, these are the many different classifications of drugs. These actually end in the zosin, like doxazosin and prazosin. So these drugs actually oppose alpha 1 mediated arterial contraction and therefore help oppose high blood pressure. It's way above my pay grade, but I just know that they do what they're supposed to do. Oh, that works for me. Some of the side effects, if you're put on one of these zosin drugs, would include dizziness, a faster heart rate, and some weakness. Okay. The next drug was the alpha 2 agonists. And if alpha 1 was pro-sympathetic, then we have to assume that alpha 2 is the arch nemesis, and that's the anti-sympathetic system receptor. So drugs in this class tend to end in INE, like clonidine, guanfacine, methyl-dopa. That's the only exception to the rule. How to pronounce these words? Although I know clonidine because I take that. These drugs activate alpha 2 receptors, which opposes alpha 1 effects. So it causes a decrease in vasoconstriction. And some of the side effects that you're going to have with this could be dry mouth, fatigue, hunger, and some sexual dysfunction. Now, one things I do know is clonidine comes in pill form, but it also comes in a patch that you change once a week. The important thing I do remember from listening to Dr. Watson, who is a doctor of pharmacy, and we have our videos of her interviewing her on YouTube. There's also a link to her drugs that are listed underneath the resources, is if you're on clonidine, you do not want to cold turkey that. You cannot cold turkey that. You can have a rebound effect. So if you don't get that new patch on, take that new medication within your 24-hour time frame, you could have a massive spike in blood pressure, and that would be no bueno, no good. Okay. And then there's also direct vasodilators. And like the name implies, it basically causes muscle vessel walls, especially arterioles, to widen and dilate. So that allows much more blood flow to come through easier with less pressure. So the two main drugs that are in that classification would be hydralazine and minoxidil. Okay, so the side effects include a potential headache, eye swelling, fluid retention that happens with minoxidil, and joint pain with hydralazine. So doesn't mean you're going to have these side effects. It just means if in these drugs that we've mentioned and talked about, that Adam's talked about, you're feeling some things, talk to your doctor. So we're actually kicking off next week, which is actually posted next week. So you won't hear about this on here for 2 weeks, is imaging. And we're going to talk about all of the different diagnostic tests that people in this community can have. So it could be an MRI TEE, a regular TEE, a CT, X-ray, all different types of tests that you can have. We're going to talk about them. Can't wait to hear about your opinion, your thoughts, and how you felt, because there's so many questions, right, Terry? We field these all the time. I have
Absolutely.
an MRI and it says I measured 4.2. I have a CT, it says I measured 4.3. First of all, there's no difference.
And some of them, I've heard MRI, MRA, you have with contrast, without contrast, you have a CT scan. But it's just, there's so many that, what are the tests? What should we look for, or what should we ask our doctors about? I'm looking forward to that as well.
Because I'll talk to people and I'm like, I don't get CTs unless I'm in the ER. And they're like, well,
Right.
then you're not getting an accurate picture. Well,
Right.
so first, as you know, don't tell me I'm not getting an accurate picture. But of course I am. And the reason I don't get CTs is because I am so beyond allergic to the dye that even with pre-medication, I break through. So my next reaction is going to be an anaphylactic reaction. And we just don't want to have that happen. So
No.
at the end of the day, I don't care what the radiologist says my results are. I care about my surgeon actually putting it on the screen and he measures it himself. He measured it in the same angle, in the same direction, the same spot. He tells me what the size is, not the radiologist.
Right.
So I'm not dissing radiologists. I'm just saying I rely on my doctor to do as hands-on approach as he can in a in measuring it. And that may bring up a question for you to have with your own doctor to ask, to talk about that.
Right.
Give
Karen, you brought
yourself
up
that.
something else.
Mhm.
You brought up something else. You were talking about how you're allergic to the dye. In all of these drugs that Karen was just going through that Adam had posted with the side effects, and everyone does react differently. Karen's allergic to the dye. Thank goodness, nothing bothers me. I'm not allergic to anything. I mean, knock on wood, wherever it may be, I've been able to take any kind of medication without a reaction. So again, you know your body, talk to your doctor, and just because it says side effects and Karen had said it and Adam said it, you may or may not have these side effects. But as long as you
Correct.
know ahead of time, you can definitely help with that.
And also, a side effect is different than an allergic reaction.
Correct.
And so, a lot of times people say, well, I can't take that drug because it made me have a dry cough. That's not a reaction, that's a
That's
side
kind of
effect.
different.
And that is not going to really do any harm unless maybe, I suppose, if you have asthma or you have other issues. A lot of these drugs can cause coughing, a dry cough,
Mhm.
but not being able to breathe and being covered in hives and having your throat swell, that's an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
That's something that puts you on the no-no list.
Yeah.
So that's your topic Tuesday. You got anything, Josh? Joshua.
Michelle said hi, and then she said, that works and very exciting. And then I said, well, you certainly must share. And then I said, whoops, I had a Scottish accent there.
All right, so we'll wait to see if Michelle wants to share it. If she does, type it to you. We'll read it out to everybody. But if not, just keep your eye out on some more stuff from Michelle Wegman coming up because she's got some exciting stuff going on right now. All right, we're moving on to Thursday. And the week prior, I had shared my story. I believe it was either a week prior or 2 weeks prior. I was featured in the Think Aorta success story. And so, what is the Think Aorta success story? Basically, we know that aortic disease runs in family, and it's much more common than you think. Definitely elusive compared to that rare aortic dissection. And we always say, when in doubt, get it checked out. We fully support this campaign, as does the Aortic Dissection Awareness Group in the UK and Ireland and Aortic Bridge. Think Aorta is basically trying to push their campaign of Think Aorta, Think Family. And if you're part of this aortic disease community, then you really need to consider supporting Think Aorta US's efforts and being part of this initiative, having an opportunity to be featured. We want to know if you've had that important conversation, albeit awkward, with your family members. Have you sat down and really talked about your family medical history in its entirety? Do you know if anybody passed away suddenly? Were there brain aneurysms? Were there aortic aneurysms, stroke, diabetes, cancer, heart disease? Any of these issues, you should be discussing them with your physicians and amongst yourselves because there is a chance that this is going to run in your family now or at some point in the future. So they want to hear from you. They want to know, did you have this conversation? And have you had your family members receive any type of testing? This could be research genetic testing, clinical genetic testing, and or just having the conversations with the physicians and having had maybe an MRI or CT. What have you done? How are you checking to make sure your immediate family members, siblings, children, parents, that's your immediates. Have anybody been tested? Have they had that conversation? Again, tests can be if you're doing genetic or it can be otherwise. And if you have, we want to know. I don't need to know what the outcome was. We just want to know that you had it done because that's the important thing. That's going to be the first line of defense. Not let's help save somebody through this process of having had a dissection. Let's provide them support, which is what Aortic Hope is responsible for doing. Okay, you've had an aneurysm repaired. Aortic Hope is here to provide you the support groups and the means to do that. Let's keep going back. Let's go back and let's think aorta. Let's talk about, if this has happened to us in the community, what can we do to determine if there's another family member that is going to be diagnosed and then monitored to prohibit any of these other issues from happening. Let's stop it before that dissection occurs. So I have been featured, and when you're featured, you will get to have your family photo placed up here, and you'll get to have that piece of marketing campaign that you can then post on all your social media. You can print it off and include it in a letter and put it in snail mail if you don't have an email address. It's just very important to get the word out. And we'd like to know from you how all of that went. So we ideally would love for you to share this story on our YouTube channel. I'm sorry, on their YouTube channel. Of course, we'll be sharing that here on Aortic Hope, doing it live, taking any questions from the community. You can also pre-record it if you'd want. And if you really are opposed to that and you want to just write your story out, this is different than a Survivor series. Although you can combine the two, and we can handle things on our end seamlessly and just share your story. But this is really hyper focused on that Think Aorta, Think Family project. So Terry, what are your thoughts about that?
Do it. No, the Think Aorta, Think Family is so important because for myself, I couldn't figure out where my dissections came from. I've had my son already tested, and it is so important. And the one thing I wanted to mention is you said that it should sometimes can be an awkward conversation. It should not be an awkward conversation. This is your health, this is your life. You need your family history. And it just do it. It shouldn't be awkward. I don't think it has to be awkward. It's for the good, and it can help you save a life.
Right. Well, it's for the betterment of your own family. And ultimately, if you do go down that route of having research genetic testing, well, now it's the betterment of the entire community. And of course,
Sure.
the organization to go to for that type of research and genetic testing would be the John Ritter Research Program, which is funded in part by the John Ritter Foundation of Aortic and Vascular Health. Just make sure I get all the names right. So that's an organization that you should reach out to if you're looking to participate in a research study around genetic testing. And again, that's very, very different than if you talk to your doctor about receiving genetic testing through GeneDx or Invitae, of which most of it is going to end up being being for through insurance, or they usually cap those fees at $250.
Yes.
So, and when I say awkward, I think you would probably agree that I think in our grandparents' days, for sure, they don't talk about health. They didn't even talk about their own health. I mean, it was taboo. No. We don't talk about bodies. And I think if we talked with our parents, our age group, spoke to their parental units, they'd find that they don't know what their grandparents died from. He just died suddenly. They chalked it up to heart attacks because that's what they did.
Right.
And now, thankfully, keep coming down in our age bracket, we're very open because we're understanding the role that genetics plays. And I would only hope that this openness continues and it just never wavers moving forward.
Correct. And the technology is so different now. When our grandparents, they didn't have this. They chalked everything up to a heart attack. They wouldn't have known what to look for. And it's just the technology with all the scans that Adam's going to talk about this month, all the scans and everything else. It puts it all together for us that this conversation hopefully will end up not being awkward with our children and their children and further down the line when we're long gone.
Exactly. Okay.
By the way, I keep raising my hand. I just want to show everybody I broke my hand, not my wrist, my hand. So that's why I have this lovely brace on.
But she doesn't get it signed because it's not a cast.
Yeah, you can't just tell us you broke your hand. You have to say, I broke it doing saving a life. There was a hijacker. I mean, there's got to be something in there.
Okay, fine.
What's the story you want to tell versus the story that's true?
The story that I want to tell is that I broke it trying to catch a home run baseball at Wrigley Field. Sounds great, doesn't it? In actuality, I broke my hand when I fell walking to Wrigley Field. It was on the way to the game. No, there was no alcohol involved. I just tripped on the sidewalk and fell and broke the bones that are like right in your pinky and ring finger. Yeah, it wasn't fun, but
Oof.
And it's shocking because, and I've said this to Terry, she's already so close to the ground. So it's kind of like reach your hand down, you're already on the ground because she's
I did.
I'm
I
it's just
did.
because
I
you're
landed on
vertically
my hand.
challenged. You're just vertically challenged. That's all.
Do you think I didn't get that from my 6'4" husband when I
You get
happened?
it you get
I
it from
get it from
anybody that's
everywhere,
taller than you.
everybody, which is
Right.
just about everybody.
Are
Pretty
you
much.
are you a big baseball fan?
Huge.
So what do you think about these new rules?
The new rules are great.
I think they're speeding the game up, and also I think it's crazy how many base steals are now happening. They're going for it, and
Absolutely.
I love the new action.
Yeah, and that's why they did it because they wanted more action and the games do go a lot faster. Oh, we could get on a tangent right here on baseball. But Karen,
Hey, I'm cool. I can start doodling flowers. It's totally fine. No.
All right, so hold
We
on,
just
hold on.
went to a baseball game.
Before we move on, so Michelle says, "Sure, almost done with my book." And I said, "Is this the news? Are you going to be giving us an author interview?" She said, "I would love to." I said, "Super
awesome.
exciting. Have you landed on a title?" And she hasn't gotten back to us yet. Karen Heichel's dropped in to say, "Makes the games faster."
Exactly.
Also,
Yeah.
hold on.
So
Michelle says, "I just fell and broke my clavicle in my kitchen."
Oh, not fun.
clavicle.
Oof.
Oh,
I did that twice. It's not fun.
I feel
Not
pain for
fun.
you, Michelle. I'm so sorry.
That's horrible.
Well, that is Michelle's big news, but there's a lot of interesting aspects to her book, so I cannot wait until it's finished.
Me
And yes,
neither.
we will feature Michelle's book on our reading resources section. And we will also have her on to talk about her book, and I'll get a chance to interview her, and we'll learn a little bit more, not just about the inspiration, because it's not just her story. And that's where I'm going to leave it. That's my teaser. That's all I'm going to say, folks. As
Well,
Porky Piggy said, that's all, folks.
she let us know that she let us know the title. It is My Heart, My Life, My Journey of Survival.
There you go.
Oh, I love it.
It'll be coming to somebody soon. Excited about it. All right. Now you and Karen Heichel can go be friends and talk all about baseball.
Absolutely. Next time I stay here in Minnesota.
That's right. All right. So Feel Good Friday. We talked about this a little bit. We had a musings jar. We asked people to virtually contribute kind of like their favorite inspirational quotes, their uplifting messages, things that have worked for them while being in this community. And it's been so successful. You guys really know how to deliver. When we ask, you deliver. And if you click on this link, what you're going to find is all of those quotes, all of those submissions are written down and just kind of flows to some nice music. We're leaving that up there. We encourage all of you to download a copy because as you're talking with other people in the community, you can just zap them the link to the YouTube channel where this is being housed. It's going to help somebody else in the community. It really is. And we appreciate all of you for participating, and we look forward to doing this again very soon in the near future. So when you get a chance, click on this link. This is also at the top of our resources section.
Anything that's inspirational when you read it, even if you just listen to the first few, minutes of it, anything inspirational, the quotes, whatever, it's going to help you, especially if you're maybe not feeling it that day, just listen, read the quotes, and it's just something to uplifting that's going to uplift you and just put hopefully a little smile on your face.
Well, and what's great about this is it's not just quotes that were written by somebody else that somebody likes. A lot of this stuff turned into quotes because it's things they said themselves. And it's like, that's a quote. I'm now going to be quoting this community member. So check it. You should definitely check it out. And when we started back up, start thinking about some of the things that you would want to share with your old self when this first happened. That kind of puts it in perspective.
Great way to put it.
Yeah. Feel Good Friday. Friendly reminder, everybody, it's a great day to kind of start talking about aortic disease and to get these questions about what is this ribbon and what does this mean. You can get An aortic, no, that's not. It's an aortic disease awareness car magnet. I don't know where I was going with that. All right, don't delay. Grab one today. $10 donation, doesn't matter if you're international or if you're domestic. You can get one of these amazing magnets. They stick great on the car. However, some of these newer cars do not have magnetized bumpers. I don't know what's up with that.
I
Like
can tell you.
Terry's. So you can stick it on top of the back, the hood, the trunk, or you can put in like this one car on the left that has it on their gas cap.
Yeah, mine
You'll
is on
find
the
a
top.
place.
Yeah, mine's on the top of the trunk. And you had asked me to make sure. I can't tell you, I've gone through several car washes with it. Then they stay. And
Yep.
I have a sedan. If you have an SUV, it's a lot easier to see. But get one, put it wherever it's there. People are going to ask you, and it will stay through the car washes
That's
and the
right.
heavy thunderstorms that we've had.
That's right. And probably a tornado. I'm just going to assume if your car stays intact where the magnet is, you'll find the magnet still on that piece of metal. There you go. No, but it really is. It's a great. It says aortic disease awareness on. Still got a little bit of our logo in there, but it's more importantly, it's about the community. It's about however you define those three hearts, whether it's aortic aneurysm, aortic dissection, aortic disease, survivor, caregiver, bereavement. It doesn't matter. It really fits all subsections of this disease, and it's eye catching, and people are going to ask you questions. So $10,
Absolutely.
and you can have your magnet today. Friday. All right, we're moving on to Survivor Series Saturday. I'm booking now. We are scheduling now for the month of July. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. Whether you are a survivor, a caregiver, or you've lost somebody, your story is going to inspire others. It's going to validate others. It's going to create questions in them to take back to their physicians. And what we kind of really want to know about when it comes to your story is the symptoms that you've experienced or your loved one experienced, and the process of diagnosis, because that is wildly different depending on what state you're in, what hospital you're in, what level of competency and ability to help your situation you're in. And we're going to share whichever means you choose. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Across all of our social media platforms. So it's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on our website. It's going to be on Instagram. There's going to be a mention on a tweet. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. And we probably are going to share it on Think Aorta US too. They like to get a hold of these as well. They also sometimes get shared across many different pages on many different outlets, and which is phenomenal. So you can submit your story by written form, which would be a blog. Please include a picture for all means. You can also do a pre-recorded video, and you can also be amazingly brave and do it live like we're talking to you now on YouTube, and then interact with the community and take questions. So those are your three choices. It's something to think about. There is a link here in this post where you can sign up today, and someone will be in touch with you very shortly. We'd like to get these weekends secured and make sure they're all full. That's our Survivor Series Saturday. Okay, share with you Sunday. It's a wild weekend. I'm trying to remember what we had posted. All right, a lot of times people ask us, right, Terry, how can I help? What can I do in the community? I want to be an ambassador. Let me sign up. Other than liking and sharing all content, here's an easy way that you can volunteer within the community at large. It's not just with Aortic Hope. You're really helping out everybody. There's two different organizations. So I think I handled both of them. Yeah, let's talk about Savvy. Savvy Cooperative and Rare Patient Voice. We're going to talk about each of them. So Savvy is actually an organization that was created by and run by other patients and caregivers. So everybody that works in this organization, they have some type of illness, disease, autoimmune, something. And a lot of times companies and innovators are wasting time and money creating products and services that actually don't meaningfully impact a patient's life. And why do they do this? Because they don't even bother to ask us. They're creating marketing. It could be the container, it could be the ad, it could be the commercial. And they sometimes ask, but they're not really asking the questions that we would like to be asked about how they're going to launch this product. So if you want to learn more about Savvy and you'd like an opportunity to earn money, it's very easy to do. You can click on this link to get more information. But basically, once you sign up using this link, which puts you into Aortic Hope's portal, basically, which means we derive a small kickback or thank you every time that you sign up and you're accepted for a gig. So put that transparency right out there. But this is what you're doing for the community. So they're going to find out all kinds of information about you as far as your medical concerns, and only certain people in that organization are privy to that information. Okay. And when you put that information in, as companies like a drug company, let's say, for instance, it was like a Pfizer or the makers of AbbVie for Humira or Cimzia, any of these drugs, whatever, a drug maker, they want to know, I wonder what people would think about this EpiPen or this, this packaging, or what do they think of this jingle, whatever the case may be. A questionnaire is going to come to you and it's going to ask you questions about your connection with this disease that this product, that this manufacturer or nursing student, because they're doing a project, or whatever, whomever the company wants to know. They're going to want to get pre-qualifying questions from you. You answer the pre-qualifying questions. It's very quick to find out, are you potentially a candidate or are you out? Okay. If you find out you're out, you can still use the link to send it to other people. That link is still affiliated to us. That's great. If you're in, this is where it gets a little tricky, because you might have to wait a little bit of time to find out of all the people who were in, which people the company actually chose. And I believe it's all randomized. So if you are actually chosen to move to the final stage, which is actually participating in the study, then you get paid the money. And I have not seen anything less than at least $25. And it's gone up very high to $150, $200. I mean, they typically pay about $110 is what they feel is worth your time for an hour. So, and they're very timely on paying. That's Savvy. Again, it's doing the work with an organization that's run by patients, run by caregivers, with the sole purpose of trying to enhance our lives with these for-profit agencies, or help enhance our lives because we're providing information to, let's say, a nursing student. That's Savvy. Once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. It's pretty easy. Rare Patient is a lot easier, and payment situations are a little bit less and different. So Rare Patient Voice actually was started because of a rare disease, but now it includes any diseases. So it's another opportunity for you to share your opinion through surveys about things that happen within the medical community. So you're going to sign up with all of your medical issues, right? Your diseases, your conditions, whatever. And then they're going to send you surveys. Now, every time somebody signs up, just signing up, we receive money from Rare Patient Voice. It's $10 as a thank you that somebody signed up. Okay, so just for signing up, we receive money. But then their surveys also can range anywhere from $25 to $200. It depends on the length of time you're going to answer questions. But you will find out immediately if you're chosen to move forward. It could just be written survey, and they say you're getting $50. It could be, we'd like to do a Zoom video call and ask a bunch of people in market research, and you earn $150. So there are two ways for you to have your voices heard and then earn some money for yourself, and then get a small little kickback back to Aortic Hope, Rare Patient, and Savvy.
And they're so easy to do. It's, you fill them out, they come to you, they ask you. So it's not like you have to have all this knowledge. It's knowledge that you already have, because you have that condition, you have that disease, you have that ailment. And it's not like, they're not going to interview you face to face. I mean, they may do an interview, but it's so simple. There's no reason. Basically, if you're qualified, it's kind of free money for us and for them and for you. I mean,
exactly. I mean, you're talking about 10 minutes of your time, about 30 seconds to a minute to answer the pre-qualifying questions. And
so
then,
quick.
so it's very, very, very quick. So if you really wanted to help, this is a good way to help. Again, your views, your thoughts, your opinions help kind of form the things that are going to be presented to us as a whole. So that's your Share With You Sunday. All right. Events. A lot of stuff happening in the month of June.
I was going to say, that's a lot of stuff.
I mean, July. It's a lot of stuff. So happening, though, this week, July 6th, we have the Aortic Hope Aortic Bridge virtual support group meeting. These support group meetings are open for anyone. Anyone can join. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You only need to sign up once. You sign up once, you receive a link in an email prior to that meeting starting just moments before, and then you'll hop into the environment, which is through Microsoft Teams. I highly recommend you download that for the best experience possible. In a support group meeting, that's what it is. We're giving support, we're receiving support. These meetings are moderated by survivors just like you. This is a major difference between any other support group meeting that you may have already been part of or that you may become part of. We're not run by doctors or nurses or therapists who have never had a day's worth of experience living in the body of somebody who's survived a dissection. So we talk the talk, we walk the walk, we understand. We're not here to give you medical advice, only to share with you our own personal experiences and help maybe make some sense from an emotional standpoint. Anything that you get from within these meetings are strictly to be used as conversation starter between you and your doctor. We also do have guests. Now, I believe we will have Dr. Ben Udelman, cardiothoracic surgeon, joining us at the end of July, and that is always a hoot to experience. So that's like a small group setting where you can ask questions of another doctor, really small. Again, we can see each other, and I will just tell you this, in these groups, people have formed some amazing friendships.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Now, outside of this, typically on Thursdays at 2 p.m., we have something that's called an aortic hangout. That is not formally scheduled for this week because we've had 4th of July, then we've got a support group meeting. But anybody who wants to hang out after this support group meeting, stay on the line because it's going to shift mentality and they're moving into Hangoutville. Now, that could be anything. There's no rating. It's no rating. It's NR. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to just be hanging out, lighthearted. Enjoy your time after that. I can't wait to hear all about it. But that is happening on July 6th. Now,
just a slight correction here.
like I made a boo-boo.
Well, it's listed here at 12 p.m., but it's going to start at 2 p.m. Eastern because it's taking over the Aorta Hangout slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the support
So
group meeting is at 2 p.m., not 12.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. I don't know that I was told about that. And if I was, I did not retain that information. I will correct that. Our virtual support group meeting, which is usually at 12 for the first Tuesday of the month, is now being moved to 2 p.m. Please note the time change. It will be 2 p.m. And then you guys can still hang out if you want to and have a hangout session. All right. On the 6th at night, 6:30 p.m., we have our Ask a Doctor event with Dr. Prakash out of UT Houston. Now, this event, Dr. Prakash is again going to go over exercise. He's going to talk about exercise. We do things a little different here in our live events. It's very laid back. It's very conversational. We want to know all the ins and the outs, the positive, the negatives, the I can't believe you're doing this that have to do with exercise. I have my own personal thoughts and feelings, but I'm always open to hearing. I want to know how some of these people are able to do what they're able to do and why. And that's what he's doing in his research program. He's trying to figure out, can we have a guideline, just something that guides us in making that determination on potential restrictions for people as a whole? There's no one size fits all. Again, this is not meant to compare your life against anybody's, to say, well, why does this person get to do this and I can't? It's just to give you a guideline about what you can do and how exercise impacts physiologically what goes on within your body. It's not just exercise, though. It is everything aortic related. You want to ask questions about your actual aorta as a vessel? Ask them. You want to know about blood pressure? You want to know about heart rate? Do you want to know about medications? Do you want to know about sex? Do you want to know about dysfunction? Do you want to know what else? I'm missing a lot. What else am I missing? Can you ride roller coasters? Can you scuba dive? These are all things. If you get a summer cold, can you take Benadryl? Oh my gosh, we've got all these residual haze and breathing issues from the fires in Canada. I hope everybody's okay in Canada. What's the implication for us? COVID, vaccines, why do we really need to get them? This is not political. This is more of an impact on our body. Let's learn and understand what it does to us and make better decisions with our physicians. Ask them anything. However, if you'd like to ask an anonymous question, Joshua, will there be a link on this where they can submit an anonymous question?
There will be a link posted in the chat for the anonymous questions, and it'll also be posted inside of the description.
Awesome. So if you don't want anybody to know your name and you just want to ask that question, you can post it. We will ask it for you and it will live here in YouTube. So this is public. So don't ask anything that you don't want someone to assign your name unless you have some wackadoodle username and nobody can figure you out. This is your time to have this one-on-one with the doctor. I'm going to be asking questions that I'm hearing rumblings about within the community. This is when I start reading all the pages. People or the board are doing the same. We're kind of scoping it out, but this is meant for you, and it's your time to ask those questions of this doctor. So join us, please. Again, if you click subscribe and you click the bell, you're going to find out. It's going to go live right here on YouTube. Then we have next week on Monday the 10th, right? Because what is today? No, yes, yes.
Today's the
yes,
3rd.
it's the 3rd. We are going to have our weekend review, but it's going to be featuring Tammy. Tammy Warner will be our host that day. So she'll be here to talk to you and answer questions and hang out with you. Then we go back to our regularly scheduled program of Aorta Hangouts on the 13th, followed by our caregiver only virtual support group meeting. They have their own link. If you are a caregiver or you'd like to share this with your caregiver, they have to fill out this link because only caregivers can come to this meeting. Why? Because caregivers have their own unique set of needs, questions, things they want to talk about. And quite frankly, I don't really want to hear it because let them talk and have their personal space, right? But the other meetings, anybody can go to. And then as you can see, these things tend to happen on the same regularly scheduled dates anyway. We also have our end of the month support group meeting on the last Wednesday of every month, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's when Dr. Udelman will be joining us. So then July's over. Like, what is happening?
Look, I don't even know how July got here, and then we're already talking about it being over.
My
It's
gosh,
so fast.
so much is coming up too because we're going to have bingo in August. We're going to be getting ready for Aortic Disease Awareness Month, guys. It's coming up starting in September. Starting in September, with September 19th being our Aortic Disease Awareness Day. Look, it's confusing. Excuse me, I know, because there's an Aortic Disease Awareness Day. Some people like to say, oh, it's Aortic Disease Awareness Week. We have fully recognized there's way too much information to present this all in one day, to present it all in 1 week. So during the month of September, we do a lot of giveaways, a lot of time for you to earn some free swag. We talk about the aorta, what it is. We talk about aneurysms, bicuspid valve, dissections, genetics, emotional health, medications, support groups. There's so much that we talk about, and it does take an entire month to just barely get every single thing in that we need in. So you definitely want to join us in September. Also, Chef Rob and Mindy Seltzer, our resident aortic chef and nutritionist, have posted their recipes from when they did their series that was live on YouTube, which you can check that on our channel as well. But if you go to blog and you go to, I think it's under kitchen, am I correct? I think it's under kitchen. I believe I might be right.
I haven't had an opportunity to check.
Okay.
Is that on YouTube here?
I will be
Or
in there
YouTube channel?
and I will figure it out. It is, it will be. They will be under kitchen. I think that sounds good. Recipes might sound better. Aortic kitchen. You'll be able to find everything that they've discussed. And I have it on good authority that they will be back sometime in the fall to do this all again with us. So lots of stuff happening between now and just September, and other things that we have yet to mention. It's all secretive. That's coming up in the woodwork. So, but you got to be here. We gave away some prizes last week. If you want an opportunity to maybe win some free prizes with us, then you got to hang out with us like Michelle and Karen did. And we thank you both so much for being part of today.
Yes.
We got anything else to talk about, Terry?
Not at all.
I feel like I just heard that Lisa and Cold Jam song, All Cried Out, except I'm all talked out.
You're all talked out.
And I'm all talked out. Okay, yeah, we're not going to do that.
No.
I think that's it. What do you think?
I think that's it too.
I'm so happy that you got a chance to join us because you never can because you're always a working person.
I know. Well, the stock market closed early today, so they let us go. Yeah, it closed at 1 o'clock, and they let us go home early today. So, because the 4th on a Tuesday is weird. It's like What we were talking about today, Tuesday and Wednesday are weird days for holidays, especially if
Yeah.
it's on a Wednesday. Is the holiday weekend the weekend before? Is it the weekend after? Or is
Right.
there no holiday weekend?
None. I like them when
And
they're on Thursdays. That's about it. Because then a Thursday you could at least like pop off Friday and you got a
exactly.
long weekend.
And by the
Right?
way, we were talking about this over the weekend.
Yeah.
If anybody didn't know, next year is a leap year, which is why 4th of July is on a Thursday next year in 2024.
Did
It
not know
is a
that.
leap year. Yes.
Hey, but guess what? We got two things happening in August, right? I think we took a break on fundraisers in July because you've got your second annual Aortiversary
I know. I'm
fundraiser
so sick.
happening in August. It's a bowling fundraiser. There's information up now. If anybody's near the Maryland area, PA, Delaware, New Jersey, even New York, I've seen you all come into town for our fundraisers. Delaware, Virginia, you got to consider coming up. Got to play some bowling. There's going to be surprise celebrity guests that are showing up to this event, opportunities to win prizes. It's going to be great. You'll have an opportunity to hang out
Yeah,
for that.
and it's a Saturday. My first fundraiser was on Thursday evening, so I know it can
Yep.
be difficult. But this is on a Saturday in the afternoon, so you can come down Friday, come to the fundraiser on Saturday, and if you want a personal escort around, I can definitely do that after the fundraiser.
That's right. Hey, something else that we've got ready, we need to put up on our website is the Aortic Bridge Aortic Disease Awareness Walk. And that is
September
happening on
September 10th.
September 10th, Sunday, September 10th, across the Brooklyn Bridge. So listen, it's going to come up on the calendar in the next day or two. If you are in the New York City area, specifically Brooklyn, not Manhattan, you want to hang out, it's free. You register for free. That link is not up yet, but you will get a t-shirt for free representing the Aortic Disease Awareness Walk. Members of Think Aorta will be there. Members of Aortic Hope will be there. Last time, I think we had a little over 100 participants. It's growing exponentially every year. There's also a time to hang out for some drinks and some munchies afterwards. It's a great day. You don't have to walk the whole bridge, but it's so much fun just to get together and talk a little bit about disease and the importance of thinking about your aorta and talking to your family. So Sunday, September 10th.
It was a beautiful day last year. I mean, it was also my birthday last year, just happened to be, but it was a beautiful day. And didn't we convince Dr. Udelman to do purple this year? Purple
I think
shirts?
he's doing burgundy, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Wasn't there last
orange.
year? What was your color last year? Orange?
Orange.
Okay, because in the year before that, I don't remember what color shirt I had. I don't remember. I missed
probably
last
won't
year. I
even
only know
ask.
it's when I did it 2 years ago, it was hot. And the sun beating off the cars that were all underneath of us as we were walking was hot, but
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. You can see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. You can see
the Freedom Tower.
Freedom Tower. I mean,
Mhm.
and look,
Empire
what a great
State Building.
day. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great
it's
day.
a lot of fun.
And we're what, like a day before September 11th. So it's also a nice, wonderful time just to
Yes.
be there and have just be part of the city during that time. It's
Correct.
an amazing thing to witness how everybody just comes together year after year
Yes.
because of September 11th. So, all right,
Sure.
I think that's what I got. Again, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Joshua. Thanks, Terry.
Thank you,
So
everybody.
nice to see you.
It was
We'll see you
great
again
to be
next
on here this
week.
week.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.